Good morning all. I promise I won't keep doing these vlogs, but when a comment comes in and I find it interesting to share the answers with, and I would like to answer them in depth, I will not answer questions that I don't know nothing about. I'm not going to make it up as I go along. So here's the comment. Mainly because in our bubble we see mostly propaganda and very little critical thinking. How are the wages there? Meaning in China. I understand things are cheap. That's cool. Generally cheap living also comes with low wages. After taxes, a little retirement fund and health insurance costs. I keep about 60% of the pay. I am considered the lower side of the middle class as an individual. I'm assuming this gentleman is from United States of America. Are the taxes higher to cover the cost of higher basic standard of living for everyone? Is life better all around due to the high standards of basic living provided by the government, or is there an underlying fear and not crossing the government keeping people in line? Or is it the combination of the two? I would consider myself as a democratic socialist. I like most of what I have seen so far about how China works. I am sure it's not all roses and rainbows though. Thanks for your time. Right, first of all, China is not the perfect society. I don't say that, and I don't try to paint that. I'm just trying to give the positive side of things. And in my other vlogs, I do criticize the things that I don't like about it. But anyway, without dragging this on, how are the wages there? The basic wage I would say is around 4,000 RMB a month, which is around $500 a month for your basic worker. Say £400 a month. Now, that is a totally uneducated, unskilled worker. Road sweepers, coffee shop assistants. There are hundreds and hundreds of coffee shops and tea shops in China. I don't mean Chinese tea, I mean sort of bubble tea and sort of flavored teas and stuff. Numerous amount of coffee chains. They will get that type of wages. Now, for your university graduate, depending on what field they're in, if they're a very good STEM student, they would be snapped up already by big companies like Huawei, Alibaba, Tencent. Even before they leave university, they would be already snapped up. So I'm talking about the general ones that need to come out and find a job. From experience, my niece just graduated university 18 months ago. She came out like every other university graduates. She found it quite hard to find a job, but we encouraged her. She started off as a security guard, earning 4,500 RMB a month. Of course, that was just a stepping stone. Rather than sit at home and do nothing, she was searching for jobs. She finally found a job in Shenzhen, which is 90 kilometers from where we live. She comes back to us a lot. She started off 6,500 RMB a month on a 3 month probation. Cut long story short, she's been with the company for just over a year now, and she's on 9,000 RMB a month, which equates to $1,000 I guess a month. Now, out of that, she lives in a house share and she pays 650 RMB a month to stay there. That includes all bills, electricity, water, what have you. She shares a bedroom with another girl, and so there's two in one room. So that's 650 RMB out of her 9,500 RMB. She walks to work, is I think about 30 minutes walk. She has a bicycle, but she just wants to keep fit. Metro system, if she needed it, is, as I said before, is starts at 2 RMB, which is not even 30 cents, not even, probably about 20 pence. She has breakfast for 3 RMB. Just get a basic bun and some soya milk. So 3 RMB is 40 cents, roughly. She has lunch, a noodle or something along those lines, costs her 15 RMB, let's say. So that's less than $2 for lunch. She has dinner, a bowl of noodles. Yes, we're big noodles eaters. She have a bowl of noodles for 20 RMB, and that's a good place. That's just a shade over $2 and a bit. And if she went out with friends to go out on a better dinner, a lavish dinner, she will probably pay maybe 70 RMB per person. So around $8 to go out to dinner with your friends. So therefore, you can do your sums. They do save a lot of money. So she's been working at this company a shade over a year, I would say, roughly 14 months, 15 months. And she has saved roughly about 5,000 US dollars in that time. Chinese people are big savers. It's embedded in their brain, to save. So that is covering the kind of basic wages for the Chinese national. Now, if you're a foreigner teaching English, if you find yourself a good firm, you can earn up to 3,500 US dollars a month. But if a Chinese person does exactly the same job, like if I had enough qualifications to teach English, I would be getting possibly 2,700 US dollars a month. Purely based on the fact that I'm Chinese and I don't have that selling point. Although I can speak English, when the parents come in, they want to see a foreign national teaching their kids English. Although I can speak English, it doesn't matter. So that is, but the Chinese workers don't hold grudge. Oh, it's reverse racism, blah, 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 blah. None of that. They don't moan and bitch about it. It's just facts of life and you accept it. It's just a selling point, isn't it? It's just psychological. You want to come into an English school, you want a foreign, it doesn't matter if you're from Africa, Canada, Australia, UK, America, you are a foreign national and they feel that they're getting a better deal. So taxes start around 10% depending on how much you earn, and it goes up. I don't know the exact table, but it's easily searched up on the internet, but it starts around 10%. So it's not breakneck taxes here. Also, is there underlying fear of not crossing the government, keeping everyone in line? Now, I can say from a vast family network, my birth mother has 9 brothers and sisters. My father has 9 brothers and sisters. My stepmother has 6 brothers and sisters. And that's just my side. My wife's side, even more. So we do have a wide network of family and friends around China and also around the world. I have uncles in Los Angeles, Florida, Toronto, Vancouver, Melbourne, Sydney, New Zealand, Thailand, Taiwan, list goes on. Our clan is everywhere. And that's a common theme. It's not just my family, it's just a common theme. That's why it says Chinese everywhere. Sorry to say that. But so I can safely say, hand on heart, that Chinese people in China don't care about politics at all. They're not afraid of the government because they trust the government. They trust the system. There's a respect in society itself in the sense that they trust the government enough to take care of their citizens. Now, I mentioned road sweepers. If you've noticed in one of my vlogs back last year, I was introducing a new metro system, really futuristic. If you go back and have a look, if you wish. It's spotless. All the stainless banisters are spotless. All the floor are spotless. Because you have a fleet of an army of granddads and grandma cleaners. Now, they're working not because of money. They're working because they don't want to stay at home. They could be 70 and they perfectly fit. The average age of China is about 85 years old, the death rate. Because all the elderlies keep fit. They don't want to stay at home and sit on the couch and watch TV. That's not the culture. The culture is to be outside. Even if you're exercising in the morning, exercising at night, they're just moving all the time. So that being said, Chinese people don't care about politics, don't care about international politics. They're not a racist nation. They welcome foreigners, and they're curious about other countries. But they don't care about international affairs. I mean, this JD Vance thing, it's only people like myself that have blown it out onto the social media. It is, yes, the government came out and criticized him that he shouldn't have used that language, but it's not a sort of a movement to hate another country. That doesn't happen. That zero. You know, with the West, with this anti-China narrative and all the propaganda that's out there, that doesn't happen in China. People are too busy making a living, making a better life for themselves, saving up money to buy a better home, saving money to buy a better car, you know, to have a better life, tourism, blah, 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 blah. There's no time in their brain to get involved with politics. Fear of the government? I don't think so. Personally, with my family circle, I'm the only idiot that brings up things about international politics. I remember this conversation when I first met my father-in-law, and I sat down, and this was the first time that the naval forces or foreign forces, I'm not going to say country, but you get it, they sent 3 carrier groups into the South China Sea to protect freedom of navigation. There was always freedom of navigation there. But anyway, cut long story short, I said, look, you know, this 10 years ago, I said to my father-in-law, we had this discussion saying, you know, there's a storm brewing because of this action of these carrier groups coming so close to the China coastline. Okay, they were in international waters, but come on, 3 carrier groups is a bit excessive. And him and all his brothers was at the dinner. It was the probably second time we met, and the table had about 25 people at the table, and they all say, oh, don't worry, presidency and his administration will look after us. We will not go to war because we're not a violent nation. We have never invaded anyone. I've already emphasized that. So the people believe in the system. They're not scared of the system. We don't drop litter in the metro station, let's say. We don't drop litter because we don't want to create work for grandma and granddad. We want to keep the place clean for ourselves and for other people. But the most important thing is we don't want to create more mess for the granddad and the grandmas to clean up after us. We're not an entitled society. Oh, just because I pay for this, I get this treatment, I can throw rubbish around because there's the cleaners. It doesn't work like that. The mentality of the Chinese people is not that at all. So there is no fear of the government, of crossing the government line as such. Now, those wages I quoted are wages in a tier 1, tier 2 city. In villages, they can earn as low as 2,500 RMB because things are cheaper in the villages. Peasant country. My brother-in-law works in a BYD factory. For those who don't know, BYD is the biggest electric vehicle company in the world now. They've overtaken Tesla. BYD is so successful because they make every component in-house down to the last nut, and all their research and development is in-house. But anyway, he works for the wiring loom department. He makes 6,500 RMB a month, and this is in rural China, which is quite good. These factories are the size of 10 football fields. They have a massive building for each component for the assembly line. They have an area full of tower blocks for the dormitory. So for the 6,500, they get free accommodation and subsidized meal. They only pay 2 RMB, which is a shade over 20 pence per meal. So breakfast, lunch and dinner is all subsidized by BYD, so they pay minimal. What I quoted in those wages previously are all take-home pay. So I expressed 10% tax is the basic income tax. Foreigners do pay a lot. They pay up to 30% tax. But again, those prices that I quoted, $3,500 take home, that is after tax. The company pays the tax. This is purely their take-home pay. I apologize for the background noise. I'm trying to get this vlog done as quick as possible so I can put it out there. Feel free to go back to my contents on actual China than this actual topic. But if you like what you hear, go back and see the original JD Vance vlog. And if you like it, subscribe, like and share. It really helps me, my motivation to carry on making contents for you guys. Thank you very much.